is Robert Smith. I'm a detective with the Rock Hill Police Department. I've been with the Rock Hill Police Department since 2010. Originally, I was a police officer in the military, with the military police. I served with the United States Army from 1994 to 2004, and after a year in Iraq, decided I wanted to go ahead and get out of the military and do something in the civilian world. So I looked into Charlotte, North Carolina, and knowing big agencies, I thought that's kind of where I would end up. And then I kind of happened across the city of Rock Hill and talked with a recruiter. From there, the process was very fast. The Rock Hill Police Department was very thorough in their background. They were just really willing to work with me in my circumstances to try to get me into the city and get me down here working. But with the detective division, generally I come in, I'm assigned cases, and then those cases are mine to work on. There's a lot of anonymity to it. Obviously I don't have to wear a uniform, so that gives me the ability to dress down, and depending on the circumstances, we might be doing surveillance, we might be working on trying to locate a suspect in a crime, might be doing interviews. It just depends on how the caseload works out. When I first came to the detective division, I spent 3 years working on our property side, and the detective division is broke up into property and persons. Property side works burglaries, break-ins to vehicles, stolen property cases, that kind of thing, usually felony level things, but sometimes lower level, just depends on what's going on. There's a lot of cases that come in. It's very active, and it can be really hard to solve those cases depending on what evidence is available. After 3 years in the property side, I moved over to the person side, where I started working on vulnerable adult cases, sexual assaults, and crimes against children. So kind of that special victims region. 19. Working homicides is definitely a challenge. You see the worst of not only the victims' problems, the things that happen to the victim, but you see the worst of what families go through. And sometimes dealing with the suspects, you could have a suspect who is a hardened criminal, who is a cold-blooded killer, or you could have a suspect who just happened to find themselves in the wrong situation at the wrong time, and you almost start to look at them and wonder, how did they get here? But you need to be able to bring them in, sit them down, have a conversation, and go from I was never there to I committed the crime. A lot of it is trying to piece together the evidence, putting together details that we investigate or we find throughout our investigations, details from interviews, little bits of information, putting those together with the puzzle pieces of the evidence we have at the scene, witness statements, and building the case.